People try to justify things. I mean, like, I'd rather be broke and
Also,
poor.
he only admitted to this because he got caught. It's not like he came to you and was like, by the way, I have to tell you that I slept with a sex worker last year and I've been on these dating apps. You caught him. Of course he's gonna say, I haven't done it since and I won't do it again. What?
And welcome back to
Give It To Me Straight. I'm Alex.
And I am John. And we're
we're
your gracious
gracious
hosts.
host.
It is echoey in here.
A little bit. I mean, if you guys can't tell, we're in another completely different room. It looks so different.
Actually, no, it doesn't.
That's my joke, John.
Oh,
Our trees are changed, though. You put them on opposite
different sides.
That's okay.
I like how we've gone to 3 different places and just did the same. We just haven't had time again.
Well, the first place we were renovating, and then we went to a rental, which we weren't renovating, and then we went back and we were like, we're selling. So now we could do something fun here eventually. But I think at this point, we're just surviving. We're not really thriving.
No, we're not thriving. We just got in our house, though, so that's good. And
If we're not on it today, guys, we've been through it. Between moving, this pregnancy just, mentally killing me outside of just the normal qualms of pregnancy. It's just like, holy shit.
just a lot going on. I think, I don't even know where to begin. Also, of like, what has been going on the past...
I feel like we have so many updates because, again, we had waited a few weeks until we were here to record this episode. Now we're back. So there's just so much, but like, I'm just mentally, the last weekend alone has just been so mentally draining. And I think we'll talk about it like when we're ready. Oh my God, I don't want to cry.
Oh no.
It's just like, I got it.
She's got it.
When like you get pregnant, like you don't assume that things are not gonna like go well. And so when you just get like news that's not perfect, that like puts you and baby at risk, it's just very alarming. It's scary. And so again, like we'll talk about it when we're ready because I clearly can't talk about it now. But I'm physically okay. Baby's physically okay for now, but mentally I am very not okay. So with that said, we're going to give you advice in this episode. But yeah, I just think that like you have this expectation of like what this journey is going to look like. And then when it goes kind of off track, it just kind of blows up your whole world and this whole expectation of what you had envisioned.
I'm actually just as shocked as everyone else probably listening right now because I actually didn't know this is something we were going to talk about. But
I mean,
honestly, it's real though.
Yeah.
It's real. And
I don't want to like move forward in this episode, have a mental breakdown and like not talk about it again. Like in our skits, it's very easy on our like social channels to kind of like avoid personal things that are going on in our life. But like our podcast, it's us sitting down talking. And again, like we're okay. It's just, I don't know, anyone who's...
Not everyone's, yes, when it just comes to like pregnancy wise, not everyone's pregnancy is going to be normal. So we have a couple more challenges than other people, but we'll get through it. We're strong. It's just like when you get hit with news, and we just recently got hit with it, it's like we need time to process it, but we don't ever have time. So we're processing currently.
Like we got it before closing on our house. And when I tell you...
No, we got it the day of.
The day of closing on this house. And when I tell you that we were sitting down, going through paperwork, just like holding it together, and the lawyers, and there's like 8 people in the room.
Everyone's so excited.
They're
We're
like, oh my God, you guys, congrats. Like you're so calm. And I'm like, I'm in survival mode right now. Like there's nothing that I could do except keep it together.
We literally went straight from our OB appointment to the closing, and we were late. And it's just like, you get news like that and you just have to put a face on. Also, fun fact, as soon as I pulled into the lawyer's office, I was trying to take a left and I was, taking the left. There's oncoming traffic, but down the road a little bit. And this guy is in like going to take a right, but he's in the middle of the lane that I'm trying to go in. So he didn't give enough space for me. So I'm blasting my horn at him, screaming.
He
I'm
ends
losing
up-
my mind.
He ends up being.
And the guy's like, okay, sorry. But I'm like freaking out. Like I'm just like not in a good headspace. And we get to closing and he's one of the lawyers. So for the next 2 hours,
We're sitting there with him.
pretending like we both don't know
You're
that
like,
we know it's us.
Right.
So
Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, you know, everyone goes through their challenges. We'll get through it. Like I said, like we're okay. Things are fine. We'll talk about it eventually. But yeah, it's just we've been in like a crazy headspace for the past, I mean, especially few days. And like I could talk about my own experiences eventually, but I know it impacts you differently because you see what I go through.
I feel horrible because as your husband, like I don't physically know what you're going through. I don't emotionally know what you're going through. I'm emotionally taxed though too, because like all I want to do is comfort you and be there for you and take your pain away, and like I can't. So feeling helpless is awful, and I'm just like doing the best I can. But man, it's just like what a learning experience. I just feel like you and I have gone through so much together, and it's just we'll come out stronger. You
It
know,
just makes you appreciate too, just so much. Like when people, like my biggest fears going into pregnancy were like pooping on the table, tearing, you know, my body changing and having body dysmorphia. And it's like all of those things just seem so not mindless, but like small
minuscule, yeah.
compared to other challenges that people go through. And like, again, there's even greater challenges that people face, but yeah, it's just, it's not fun, but
I think it also sucks for you too, because you don't really have an outlet, you know, as far as like who to speak to. You don't know.
I'm just glad I have a therapist at least, you know.
But your therapist isn't experienced in that realm. I mean, yeah, she could probably give you like coping skills, but maybe
anything is better than nothing.
yeah. Anyways, so
we want to keep it light again. We'll keep you guys in the loop as much as we can and what we feel comfortable with. But in case, you know, we do give terrible advice today, which we generally do. That's why.
also, but what's going on is not why we had the batch. We've been crazy busy. Like we were in Finland, you know.
Well, I do have some notes because there's so much
Go through
happened. So before we moved, you know, we had filmed our episodes at our old house. Now we're in our new house. But some things that happened was we spoke about flying with Kobe. And we did that. Guys, Kobe was an angel. An angel. After flying with him, I'm like, we could go anywhere with him now. The flight attendants were taking pictures with him.
Petting Kobe.
Because he was just so sweet. Well, granted, we did give him a little bit of a drug to sleep. But he still, regardless, the funniest thing though was watching him navigate escalators.
Oh my
because
God.
he had never been on one, and he had to. I mean, he's a service dog, but he had to act like he'd been doing it for years, and he's new to this position. So we're like, Kobe, this is an escalator. Lock it up. You guys know that.
I'm not gonna pick him up.
No, we can't. But you know that scene in Elf where
one leg extends. Yeah.
That was Kobe with his 2 paws on the top and his 2 paws on the bottom. He was so spread out, but then he got the hang of it.
Yeah, I was so nervous about the whole flight, but he was good. But it's just like getting a 45-minute Uber with Kobe in the car to the airport, and then like
He really was great though.
I know.
He did so well.
This is it though.
But was that
He's living and dying in New York?
And that was your first time flying first class?
My first, yeah. Also, nothing but the best for Kobe. And we flew first class because
we needed the leg space for him.
we didn't like jam him under the seat, or I don't know, how does that work? Would you just buy a regular seat?
I guess we would just get a whole row. You just need enough room for them to lay, and I didn't want him to be too squished in, you know, a regular row. So we bouged out for Kobe. It was worth it.
Worth it though. I mean, one and done.
Oh my gosh, he's so cute. He's so cute.
Okay, so we flew him to New York.
We flew to New York, and then we had 24 hours or 48-ish hours. We had Easter. Kids, that made me question everything. I was like, did we make the right choice?
Easter was crazy.
Yelling. And I hope that it's one of those things where it's like, you just like your kids so much more than other kids, because I was like, I can't handle this. One kid who's not related to us so rude. She's like a 9-year-old girl. I was like, am I about to fight you? Like, she was just making rude comments to my sister, comments to me, the other little kids. And I'm like,
It's all
sit
about
the
parenting.
fuck down.
It's all about the parenting.
Oh my God. I was like, I've never wanted to actually bully a 9-year-old before. I'm this close. I didn't.
You were being the better person.
I was like, is this for real?
So just break it down. Yeah. So we moved from California. All of our stuff, we got shipped. We got our car shipped, which I can't wait to talk about that.
Okay, well, no. Let's
Wait,
talk about our
I'm
trip,
I'm not
though.
saying it yet. Well, you're fast forwarding to like moving because I'm not saying we didn't get to there. You got to break it down.
Easter was first, then we
break
went to
it down.
Finland.
What I'm saying is, yeah, we flew from California. Just so you know, we didn't close on our New York house yet. We didn't close on our California house yet. So nothing is sold. We move. We get to New York. We're there for 24 hours. We do Easter. And then we fly to Finland after 24 hours, which was a whole nother journey.
So cold. But we went there with Keels. Oh my gosh. They went above and beyond.
Amazing trip.
One of the best trips I've ever been on. I will say Finland, beautiful, so cold. I'm like, I could have gone upstate New York. Like, it was gorgeous. The one unique thing though about Finland, the Northern Lights.
Okay. I love Finland. Love the people. Northern Lights are overrated.
Yes, they were very welcoming.
Also,
the Northern Lights are overrated.
they are. That's because you know what? It's bullshit for people who like me. When you see the photos and it's bright green, it's not bright green.
You know why though? It's because in photos at that late at night, you have to do long exposure. So you're getting in more light. It's kind of like on your iPhone, the newer ones, not the old ones. If you are taking a photo and the lights, like you could see the stars and you're like, is it really this bright? It's at least 50% brighter in photos than it is in person. It's still beautiful.
The fact that our guide said this was like one of the top 10 nights of the year for seeing the Northern Lights was like, okay. I thought it was a cloud that had some like lights reflecting off of it.
It was still cool. Like you could definitely see it, but it wasn't as bright as photos.
Also, it was -3 degrees out. I almost didn't make it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I
So
was
cold.
frozen.
I don't know how people, it was April and it's that cold there, could not survive. I give credit to anyone. And it's rated one of the happiest places on earth. Like, or people are the happiest places there.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a lie?
I don't know. I mean, again, we weren't in. So we flew into Helsinki, which is their main airport.
Right.
And then we flew from Helsinki to, I don't remember, but it was
Roven, I don't want to
whatever, but it
butcher
was Lapland,
close to the
Finland.
North Pole.
So it was the Arctic. We were in the subarctic or Arctic or whatever. So it was just so surreal being out there. We stayed in a tree house.
Guys, if you love Christmas, go to Finland. They are obsessed with Christmas there. But it's specifically, is it in I don't want to mispronounce it. It starts with the R.
Reykjavik.
No, Rovaniemi. Hold on, let me look up on my Instagram.
Sure, while she's looking that up. So literally they're obsessed with like the North Pole. And I, for some reason, thought...
Okay, I'm going to butcher this. Rovaniemi.
Close.
Whatever. Lapland, Finland. They're obsessed with Christmas.
Obsessed. There's Santa's workshop. There's Santa's mail room.
Three
post
Elves
office.
diner. Three Elves bar. Like literal reindeer. Actual reindeer.
That was cool.
They're so beautiful and cute. But Christmas themed everywhere. Everywhere has their Christmas decor still up. I'm telling you, if you're a Christmas person, you have to go to this place.
I'm just all about these brand trips. I hope they just start sending us everywhere because it was awesome. The Kiel's trip, we even went to, my favorite thing was we did like ice go-karting. So I was just Tokyo drifting around the track.
They were like, you shouldn't
Like
do
that-
this, Alex.
The
You're
Fast and
pregnant."
Furious Tokyo Drift movie, they were just drifting. I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So great time. Finland was awesome.
But I did do ice karting, even though it was not. What?
Who cares? You're a badass. Yeah, they're trying to make you not do it. They're
Well,
like,
no, my thing was like, I know I'm not that far along enough that it's like, it's just go-karting. No one hit me. But,
I hit like 4 people and we were going fast.
well, you are just a bad driver. That's why.
Alex also, they're freaking out about Alex going go-karting and she's like, I'm fine, whatever. And then, but we're in 2 different heats. So I turn around. Alex is on the back of one of the instructors. They have their 4-wheelers. She's on the back holding one hand onto the 4-wheeler and the other holding her camera. And he's drifting and she's filming me while I'm driving. I'm like, you are crazy.
He was like, you want to get on? And I was like, yes. Like, that's how I'm going to get cool shots, moving shots of you. That was definitely more dangerous than doing the actual thing, but it was worth it. Got some good
that
shots.
was, oh my God, I couldn't believe it.
Do it for the shot. But I mean, overall, amazing, gorgeous, beautiful place. Thank you, Keel, so much for taking us. It was
awesome.
Such an experience. My favorite was meeting the team, though. Like, I'm like, the people who work for Keels, the people who work for the agencies, love them. I'm like, and they're all in New York.
Yeah, great.
Best people there.
So we'll hang. So then we go to fly home from Finland. We are at the second biggest airport in Finland, which really is not that big. There's, we're going on that flight back to Helsinki.
It's like an hour flight.
Hour flight. Our flight gets delayed because of snow in Helsinki. We're there for like a couple hours.
It was like a 2-hour delay, but we missed our next flight in Helsinki.
So we ended up getting to Helsinki.
We got to Helsinki, but we missed our flight by 20 minutes. There was at least 30 people who missed that flight, but because it's a jumbo jet, they're like, we're not waiting. They left. All hell broke loose. It was 36 additional hours of travel. It was just chaos. I felt so bad.
So we had to stay overnight. We had to get a hotel in Helsinki. It's snowing. I have my Old Navy jogger pants on and a fucking sweatshirt. All of our luggage is
lost.
Is gone. Is in one of the planes.
Thank God for air tags because that's how we were able to track everything. Otherwise, it'd be like, we're never seeing our stuff again.
So we're in the airport and Alex talks to her mom and our
like,
car was supposed to arrive.
I was like, Mom, we're not going to be there until tomorrow. There's a delay. She's like, oh no. And I'm like, but our car should have been delivered this morning, right? She goes, yeah, I was about that. I was going to wait until you guys got back. It's totaled. And I was like, what do you mean our car is totaled? She goes, yeah, well, your brother was driving down the street just like a mile from the house. And he called and he goes, what color is Alex's car? And I was like, black. And he was like, it's on the side of the road, flipped over, totaled. He saw the California plates, called my mom, just like it instinctively was like, I think that might be Alex's car. The driver of the trailer towing our vehicles went too quick around a corner 1 mile from my parents' house where it was supposed to be dropped off, flipped the trailer. All the cars went over, including ours.
So the cops are there. I'm hearing from Alex's dad because he swung by there. The driver
to take pictures.
I know, was yelling at the cops to tell them, because they're impounding everything, even Australia. He was yelling at the cops saying, let me get these cars to their destination. The car's totaled and he wants to flip it, put it back on his trailer and then drop the car off. So currently we're still with no vehicle. Still waiting on that. But I just want to give anyone advice out there. Get gap insurance on your car because apparently gap insurance will cover your vehicle. Basically, if your car's totaled, what the gist I'm getting is they're only going to give you what your vehicle's market value on the vehicle. So you spend 70 grand on a car.
Is this new information? I'm like, I didn't know this.
I didn't know this either. The market value on the car, if it's like 30 or 40 grand, that's what they'll give you. So we're pretty fucked on that end. But yeah, so we're still waiting on that. So no car.
Well, we have our nice little rental that smells like cigarettes. It was definitely a smoking car.
All these no smoking
stickers
stickers in the car.
Yeah.
It was just chain smoked in the vehicle.
Oh my gosh. So we're stressed about the car. We hear this news. We finally check into our hotel in Helsinki before we fly back to New York. And John's like, he's using this phone charger. And I'm like, that's my phone charger. And also, guys, we only have the clothes on our back. We are not like good packers where we brought extra underwear, extra socks, just in case we get delayed. So I like washed my stuff in the sink. We're both butt naked and yelling at each other. And I'm like, that's my fucking charger. And you're like, no, it's not. I'm like, I swear to God, John, that's my fucking phone charger.
I forgot all about this. You know when you're just like so tired, anything's funny? We are like cracking up naked.
Beating each other
fighting
up.
in a hotel room.
I'm like, give me my charger. And you ended up finding yours. And you just wouldn't admit that you were wrong.
It was the weirdest hotel room. It was a small room, like a small room, but there was 4 beds in it. Like 4 single beds.
Like, what
the fuck are we in?
So bizarre. Whatever. It worked. We got out of there. We flew home. Oh, but not even that. So we get to the airport. We get to the airport and they had rescheduled all of our flights for the next day, the day prior. So We get to the airport at like 5 a.m. to catch our 7 a.m. flight to go to Iceland, which would then go to New York because there was no directs to New York until later that day, whatever. So we get to the Iceland check-in because now they're boarding the flight. And we go up to the check-in and they go to scan our tickets and the lady, it's like, meh, and the lady goes, you guys aren't on this flight. And I'm like, what the actual fuck? They rebooked us on this flight last night. Our flight was canceled, yada, yada. So she puts it in the system. She goes, no, you're actually going to Copenhagen. And I'm like, when is that flight? She's like, in 30 minutes. It should be boarding in like 15 minutes. She's like, it added 3 more hours to our travel time. I was like, great. So we're waiting. We go to Copenhagen. We fly there. It's like, I don't even know how long that
Just
flight
so you know,
was.
I would like to visit Copenhagen. Just based off the airport area, I was like,
cute.
I want to come visit.
So then we land in Copenhagen, and now we have like a 4 to 5 hour layover until we fly to JFK. So we're chilling. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get some work done. We go to this lounge, and we're working. And 2 hours before our flight, we're like, let's go. Maybe 10 minutes before that, I was like, John, go check the board to see where our gate is. So he's like, got it. We're gate C35. I'm like, okay. So we're heading to the gate with our shit. You know, we have 2 hours to go. There's this line to like check your, like another passport line. We're like, oh my gosh, it takes us 30 minutes. We get to the gate at C35, whatever it was. No one's there.
It says JFK, New York.
It says Newark. Or no.
No.
It was,
no, don't try to add
the
shit.
flight that was boarding was Newark. It did say JFK, but it was like for 2 hours after our time. And I was like, what is this? And John's like, this was the gate that the lady told me. She said there's only one flight out of Copenhagen to New York a day. And this is it. I was like, John, this isn't our flight number. This isn't any of it. So I look up what our flight number is. It's in a gate across the airport, boarding now.
First off, I don't have fucking internet. If you got an update on your phone, then you should have said something.
I didn't get an update.
Also, when I spoke to the lady, it literally is like,
you had one job, John.
It says President Travel Advisor. She was basically the head of like helping you find your gates and stuff. I go, because I went to her, I'm like, we're here for 4 hours. Is there any earlier flights we can go on to New York? She goes, this is the only flight to New York. The only flight for today. Okay, I look at the board. JFK says our time in military time.
Haven't you learned to like not trust people? You always double check work. Double check your
That's her
partner's
specialty. How do you fuck up your own specialty? That's your one job.
You fucked up, and I went into cardiac arrest because of it.
Oh, it got bad. It got bad. Yeah.
So we're now so far that I'm like, we should still have time, but like, because again, it took us so much longer to get to the first gate. It took about like 45 minutes. So now I'm like, oh my God, we only have however long to get to this next gate, get back through. It wasn't even security. It was just like a checkpoint, I guess.
Think about being at like Terminal 1 at LAX and you have to go to the Qantas one at the very other end. That's what it was.
I'm also pregnant. And so, yeah, I've been continuing my workouts, but I'm not sprinting. I haven't been doing sprint workouts. I'm holding the backpack full of all the gear. You grab like the extra bag and you're like, I'm going to sprint as fast as I fucking can to stop the gate, like, or make sure that they know
I'm the hero. And I'm the hero in this fucking story.
You're the one who caused this issue.
I'm not taking blame for that. Anyways, that's another part. We're still salty about that. Anyways, so
because I found the correct gate, which you could have done the hour before.
Anyways, I sprint. I don't remember the last time I sprinted. This was like a revelation to me. I sprinted and I went as hard as I could until my body physically
shut down,
stopped me. I've never sprinted like that before. I sprinted so hard, like in a state of emergency,
also, like,
and my body stopped. My body stopped. I couldn't sprint anymore. And I was like,
your legs. But when I see people running through the airport, I'm like, idiot. Like, how are you not prepared? And I'm like, we were them. We were those people.
So somehow, and they're like, last call, blah, blah. And I get to the gate. I'm covered in sweat. And then they're like, I was like, my wife's pregnant. My wife's pregnant. She's coming.
I was so far behind.
She's like swaddling along.
I'm running. But then at some point, when I saw that there was like a whole other hallway, I was like, fuck it. Leave without me. I honestly can't. I'm going to go into cardiac arrest. Like,
it was wild. I couldn't believe it. We get on the flight.
I'm
We're not
pissed.
talking.
I'm so
We're not
pissed.
talking. Luckily,
Thankfully,
thank God we
yeah.
had 2 separate seats.
Because again, they had booked us last minute, so we were separated. So I just get in my seat and I'm like on the verge of tears because we almost missed this. I'm in the same clothes for
We
the
could
past
try.
48 hours. I can't drink. They're like champagne. I'm like, fuck you. Like, I'm just pissed. And then I'm just sitting down profusely sweating. And you get up like an hour into the flight and you like try to make eye contact with me going to the bathroom. And I'm just like,
No,
Don't
that's not what
talk to
happened.
me.
You were
Don't
literally
talk to me.
you were like, "Are you gonna apologize?" I'm like, "Apologize for what?" So we start fighting on the airplane. But I still am not apologizing because I don't think I'm wrong. I go, "All right, I'll meet you partially way and
that's
say."
not a
and
good trait,
It's not a good
John.
trait. It's
Of
not a good trait that
of
you think
You're wrong.
I'm not
You
wrong.
were wrong.
And I met her partially the way by saying I should have done more of a due diligence and looked more.
Double checked.
But I'm not taking full
The
blame.
times were off. Like everything about that gate number.
But I am the hero because I got us on the plane. Anyway, so we're still salty about that.
I'll never forgive you. Also, I forgot to mention that from the flight from or to Copenhagen, I'm like, we're already just at our wits' end. I like lean over to grab my AirPods. The guy in front of me, as we're ascending, so he shouldn't have put his seat back. He slams his seat back, cracks me in the forehead, and he's like, oh, like 'cause he obviously hit a roadblock, which was my fucking face.
He's like, oh God.
It was just one thing after another with the car, getting that news, all the delays, and then so whatever. We have our flight, we land.
If you guys are wondering, we're not going to get through all the questions.
No,
today.
we're not. We're gonna like try to sprint
Guys,
through it. This is just an update.
we haven't been on here in like literally for a month. So
I know,
we're
we're
just
gonna have nothing to
recapping.
talk about next week. So
I'm sure something will come up.
I'm sure. But so we land, we get into customs in New York, and we're the first people. We're like, cool, we're off the plane. We get to go home. Let's do this. We walk up to the line and it's closed off. So there's 2 women who are just like dilly-dallying, laughing with each other. And they're like, where's your flight? It takes them at least 1 minute to acknowledge us, which 1 minute is a long time when like a whole flight is unloading. And I'm like, where do we go? Where do we go? They're like, what flight did you just come off of? And I was like, Copenhagen. And they're like, okay, don't do shit. Don't do shit. She's like walking up and down and I'm like, so where should we go? She's ignoring us. And then she decides to open up the gate or the, what is it called? Like the
Velcro thing.
The line, the
line placement thing.
The line
But she
placement.
starts talking to the girl behind us.
And she goes,
Chit-chatting.
you could come through here, opens up the line for them. And thankfully the girl behind us was so fucking sweet. She goes, no, they were ahead of me.
She's like, oh yeah. I'm like,
She goes,
I'm about to drop kick.
I know.
her.
I'm like, I don't have the patience for this. This is my 13th reason. It wasn't my 13th reason because there was like 14th, 15th, 16th reasons. But yeah, so that was our travel journey.
By the way, when we went through customs in Finland, and the guy was like, "What are you guys here for? Business or pleasure?"
I
and
fucked up.
we
I
said business.
I said work trip, and then I was like, "Oh my god, you don't do that! Like, it's not like we're here for an extended amount of time. You're supposed to say pleasure for fun."
Which we were.
Yeah, it wasn't like we were working, but he's like, "For what?" And I was like, "Oh, skincare," and he's like, "Explain," because it's not. English isn't their first language. And I was like lotions, you put them on your skin. And he goes, and what do you do with it? And I'm like, we make videos and put them on the internet. He was probably.
I just remember him being like this to go,
yeah.
like elaborate.
What elaborate? So.
I thought we were
Annoying.
having a joking moment and
No,
they were
he was,
not joking.
He was dead serious. He was like, what are you doing here in my country?
Also, I had a hard time taking them serious because they were like 19 years old. I'm like, relax.
Yeah. But anyway,
buddy.
we made it back. And then, you know, we're finally here in our house. It took a few weeks, a few delays, but we made it. And you know what? We rediscovered our love for diners. That's the one thing that I forgot about New York. I was like, oh my God.
We paid like $28 for
Less.
You get your dinner.
It was like $22.
Well, with tip, it was like $65. But like whatever I got, say I got like chicken parm. I get the chicken parm. First you sit down, you get bread, and they're like, you want this chicken
Appetizer?
We're
I'm like,
sure.
is it going to kill me? Like, is it expired? Is
So
that
it was
why?
like, you know, it almost was like a crock pot chicken.
Yeah, it fell off the bone. It was so good.
Yeah, so we got that with the bread, which they didn't charge us for. Then we got salad.
Then you got soup.
You got soup.
Then you get your main entree, which is 18 servings.
If you're in LA, that would be for 4 people. Our meal, and then you get a slice of cake or
A
cheesecake
dessert.
or whatever you want, which was like the best cake I think I've
and
ever
then
had.
you get coffee or tea, whatever you want.
That meal would have been at least $300.
Maybe not.
$250 LA.
Yeah, probably like
You're getting
200
4-course
at a minimum.
meal.
Yeah. Oh my God, so good.
That's amazing.
Like I could go for that today.
All right, we gotta
Should we jump into questions?
let's just jump in.
So guys, yeah, we're back in this house. Eventually, if you are a YouTuber and you're watching us here, we'll do something here.
Or maybe we won't, because you guys have been who've been listening to us for 3 years now. Like, have we ever gotten our shit together? I feel like we're just constantly just trying to survive.
Like I said, we're surviving. We're not thriving. I'm just like, we're holding it together.
We're holding it together.
Well, let's jump into questions, shall we? And I also want to say, because next week we will do a gender reveal. We were going to do it this week, but I really want cake and any excuse to have cake. So I'm going to make it myself, and then we'll cut into it, and you can all enjoy a fun reveal with us. Don't look so excited, John.
Let's do it.
Okay, question number 1. My boyfriend's best guy friend sent him a picture of himself to my boyfriend. It looked like he had just gotten out of the shower. He had his towel cover his lower waist, but he was clearly hard and you could see the outline through the towel. I'm not sure if I should confront my boyfriend and ask him what that was all about, or if I should read the message between them. I'm definitely feeling confused.
My boyfriend's friend or my friend?
My boyfriend's best guy friend. So it'd be like if Goo sent you a rock hard pic.
Well, I'm pretty sure that guy is a homosexual.
The friend or the boyfriend or both
Both.
of them? I mean, I was going to say I would feel very uncomfortable.
Is that the appropriate way of saying it? I don't even know what is the correct terminology. Am I okay for saying that?
I would feel very uncomfortable if you received a photo like that, because it would make me question things. But then I'm like, is that hypocritical? Because if you go through my camera roll with my girlfriends, I mean, if we get a boudoir shoot, we're sharing it. If we have new boobs, we're sharing it. Like
Well, how do you show where it's like, if you have a rock hard dick going on, that means
that's true.
Something's
That's
going on. Like
point.
as a woman,
Yeah.
would it be like hard nipples? No.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
A hard clitoris? Clitoris?
Exactly. Yeah, I guess that's true too.
Those
it's not just
dudes-
like, hey, here's my workout, my pump.
Those dudes are hooking up for sure.
Have you?
And you know what? That's fine if one wasn't in a relationship. So that guy's
Well, I was
pretty
gonna say your
fucked up.
boyfriend just has to be honest. If you are already suspicious of it, I would do some digging, because I don't think.
What is there to dig? The guy's sending him a photo with a rock
Meaning,
hard.
like, talk to your boyfriend about it or go through his phone.
I'm pretty sure there's no digging. I mean, there's the only you could be like.
But it might have been taken out of context.
You should take the photo and go to your boyfriend and be like, "You like what you see?"
But it might have been taken out of context. What if the boyfriend's
No.
best friend was sending a picture from something else?
Unless he said,
And it wasn't him.
"Oops, didn't mean to send it to you."
Yeah,
which
but
I would still question
But
that.
exactly, maybe that's the case. You don't know.
There's not much digging you have to do, lady.
I don't know. You need some context. I say you do have to do some digging, because you could drive yourself crazy by assuming. There might be some answers.
Those dudes are fucking for sure.
Okay, next question. How long should someone wait to remarry after their spouse passed away? My dad had been married to my mom for almost 30 years, and sadly, she passed away from cancer. My dad waited less than 2 months to start dating again, someone way younger than him. He's 56 and she's 36. He wants to start a life with this lady, and they're already having a baby. They've been dating for 5 months.
Time, subjective. That's subjective. I could say whatever I want to give you advice, but like, to each his own.
I think it's
You could say it with anything.
normal for men, especially our parents' age, to generally replace their spouses if they pass away, because they don't
Like
know
how
how
you're
to
saying men.
Well,
You
yeah,
don't
because I think
women
women
would do that.
usually stay alone. All my grandmothers,
Prove it.
after they have either gotten divorces or their spouses have passed away, they've never remarried. Whereas my grandpa was on
Just
wife number 4.
tell me the reasoning. Say what? Why are they remarried?
I'm not talking about you.
No. Say
I'm
men.
talking-
Why men? Why is it
Because
that?
they need help to take care of themselves.
Really? Because I think women who are gold diggers, they need
Okay,
help.
there's two
I'm just saying
extremes here, but
you're giving an extreme. You're saying guys can't take care of themselves, so they're gonna have to get with.
I'm not saying everyone, but I'm saying generally a large population of the
And
older
I'm saying
generation.
generally, women who've never worked need someone to support them. I could say the same
if
thing.
their rich husband dies, like they're getting the money from
Not
that.
necessarily. Not if there's a prenup.
If they die, they're getting that inheritance. Like a prenup.
No, not necessarily. You
I guess that's
you could go to court and
Okay. Either way, I'm saying that like.
Nah, I don't like how you profiled that.
Okay. You're taking this as a personal offense. I'm talking about
I'm not taking it as
like,
a personal offense. You just automatically assume that like guys.
I'm gonna look it up and then
yeah.
I will come back next episode and say like how
Put it in
many
your phone as a
out
reminder.
of women versus men when their spouses die, who is most likely to get remarried? I guarantee you it's men.
I guarantee you
I'll
it's
look this
women.
up right now.
Do it.
Men are much more likely to remarry relatively quickly, often within 18 months after the death of their partner, while women are much slower to remarry a partner if they do so at all.
Was that from
By Journal Sage something?
Is that from womenarethebest.com? That's not a fucking, dude.
It's the
dot
first
gov.
thing. It's the first thing that came up.
.org. Is that
It's literally
evidence?
.org. It's a .org. It's a peer-reviewed article, abstract, conclusion, study, references. Like, come at me. It's just known. Like, you can't, just because you wouldn't remarry, which you know what? You say that you wouldn't, but I really feel like you might.
I can't do it again. You're exhausting. There's just no way.
It's funny because thinking now that like we have a kid along the way, like about the death of you, I'm like, oh my God, I'd be alone. I'm like, I guess I'd have a kid to raise still. Because I was like, oh, I'd adopt like at least 3 more dogs, just live in the house alone. But
The only reason I'm giving you like, I'm just too lazy to look up my own research.
John, look it up.
One
look
article.
It up. You were just too lazy to look at the fucking terminal that our flight was out of too. And that caused problems. And so
next question.
Here we are. My boyfriend of 3 years recently told me that he doesn't consider kissing other girls on the lips while playing drinking games cheating. This is a topic we never discussed before because I did not even think that someone at 28 years old would still be playing these things when going out.
Right.
He says that now that he knows how it makes me feel, he will try to avoid the situation.
What a fucking idiot.
Am I the asshole for feeling bad about this? Am I being too jealous with my actions?
No, you're not.
Is your boyfriend in high school?
Is he a fucking idiot?
Maybe he was stunted.
No. This is him being like, better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
I didn't know that this was a boundary for us, but so now I'll try. But I can't make any promises.
Bottle?
I can't make any promises. Yeah, or like what games?
It's definitely spin the bottle. All right, Monica, you and me.
7 Minutes in Heaven.
These people, what a fucking idiot. Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
We'll keep these answers short and sweet. Get rid of him.
No, because seriously, I can imagine what else he's saying that to, like, I
didn't know I wasn't supposed to stick my penis in her.
Yeah.
I didn't know that would make you mad.
You mean I'm not supposed to leave my dishes on the table after I fucking use them? Or
my mom always cleans them up.
What a fucking idiot.
Are you for real?
Honestly, you should fucking throw punch him and then get rid of him.
I wouldn't be able to take this person seriously, especially after 3 years of dating. You're almost 30.
3 years?
They've been together for 3 years.
How old are they?
He's 28.
Oh my God. Run away. Don't walk.
Run for the hills. Next question. My fiance has just told me he doesn't want to get married anymore a week after my family paid the first deposit for the venue. He says we are still engaged and he still wants to get married eventually, but thinks we have some things to deal with before that happens.
That ship has sailed.
I don't know if I'm just being dramatic about it, but I was devastated and don't really know if I can move forward with him. Part of me thinks, okay, after everything, this was my last straw and I'm done. Then the other half of me says, maybe we can move past it. Obviously, I love the guy, but are we just taking the piss now? What would you do?
I think he's doing you a favor.
I agree. I would look at my relationship as a whole and be like, if he previously wanted to commit to me and no longer feels that he can move forward because we have things to work past.
Why did he never bring it up to begin with?
Right.
Or in the
it's
beginning?
Like, what changed? And maybe you have to reflect. Don't look at, I think your ego can get in the way a lot of times here when the other person is the one to like be like, I don't want this. You know, you could be like, why? And you kind of want what you can't have mentality. It's definitely hits your ego, but this is a time, take your ego out of it and be like, am I really happy in this relationship? Are things really working for me? That's the best way, I think, to move forward in this and make a decision.
I just like now he's involving and affecting other people than just you.
Yeah.
Now too, which is annoying.
Also, deposit. We made a deposit and then 1 week later pulled it, and then they gave it back to us. Because if it's only like 1 week later, so try to get it back now if you wait
Right.
longer, but you should be able to get it back. It's not like they
And
did
then you
anything.
keep that money.
Well, yeah, it was her family. Why would
Oh yeah,
her family?
You better
pay for
keep that
it?
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think. I mean, you might be dodging a bullet here. So
Yeah.
figure out definitely why. I wonder what his reasoning. What is that's going on?
What are the issues? Are they?
Because you might be able to just read right through if it's bullshit. If he's like, well, you know, we've been, you know, arguing lately, but like, have you been arguing? You know, is he just making shit up?
The deposit is generally given a year or so in advance. Like, I'm sure you have at least a few more months until your wedding. What can you not work out? Like, you either see your life with someone or you don't. It shouldn't be confusing. You know or you don't.
When you know, like this whole cold feet thing.
You shouldn't feel cold feet. Like, marrying you was one of the easiest, seamless
unless
decisions.
you were pressuring, were you pressuring this marriage, like to push for this wedding? Because, you know, I guess I could see someone's viewpoint if they're like so comfortable where they're at. I know it's like shit or get off the pot, but if you're pushing someone to do something, maybe they don't have the courage to say anything until the last minute. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I just think you have to look inward and be like, am I really happy in this relationship overall, minus this one thing that like he's now put a wrench into things? Like, of course, it's shitty for someone to be like, I don't want to marry you. But to your point, he could be doing you a favor in the long run. Next question. I recently got married to my boyfriend of 7 years and relocated to where his job was to start a new life together. While living together, I found out by snooping through his phone that he's been on a dating app for a few months prior to our marriage, approaching girls, calling and texting them, etc. He claims he stopped after we got married, but to add salt to the wound, I also found out that he hooked up with a sex worker around a year before we got married while we were still actively dating. He says he hasn't done anything since we got married, and it's only been a few months since we were married, so we should give it a shot at the very least. He hasn't done anything of this sort before, but I honestly don't know what to do. I really enjoy his company, but I'm not sure if that's enough. I've always been very loyal, so I can't stomach the fact alone.
I can't believe you're asking this question.
However,
right
having just spent so much on a wedding and uprooting my whole life moving here, it seems so inconvenient to move, but then I'm also convinced once a cheater, always a cheater. What do you guys think? You can't be inconvenienced to move. How about being inconvenienced to get a divorce in 4 years,
you have
5 years?
one life. Yo.
I mean,
People
again,
try to justify things. I mean, like, I'd rather be broke and
also,
poor.
he only admitted to this because he got caught. It's not like he came to you and was like, by the way, I have to tell you that I slept with a sex worker last year and I've been on these dating apps. You caught him. Of course he's going to say, I haven't done it since and I won't do it again. What? Why are you doing it in the first place?
I just feel bad for people who have like such low self-esteem and like confidence in themselves to like, and they're scared of change or moving on. Like, man, just when you wrote this question, just like read it to yourself, like all these things you're trying to like find a reason to just try to stay with this person. Like, it's over. This person, he's terrible. He's a terrible person. God forbid he's with a sex worker. You better go get tested. You know, I don't know. Like, he could be, the fact that he literally can be physically causing you harm. And
he wasn't forthcoming.
And he didn't care about it. And he still did
No.
something like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's just one part. Emotionally, mentally, like he's fucked with you.
Yeah, he doesn't respect you, but you have to respect yourself enough at this point to walk away, regardless of how inconvenient moving is.
I feel so bad for like the good guys out there, because there are a lot of good guys, but they just don't have confidence. But there's so many guys that like want to be in a relationship and just like be happy with someone. And then there's these fuckheads that land these women and ruin their lives. And it's just also women. There's
shitty
horrible,
women too.
shitty women out there. It's just like crazy that.
But again, I think once someone shows you who they are, believe them. Like, I do think that there's instances and where you could be forgiven, but it's like, what is the case here? Did he come to you and admit, no, he got caught? And it sounds like a pattern of things. Like, he's been on these dating apps, he hooked up with people before you. It's just like, or while you were together. It doesn't equate to a good person who you want to be married to. And also, it's not like you guys have kids. Yeah, you were dating for 7 years, but like, get out of it now. No love lost. Bye.
Stop drinking the punch.
And leave.
Get out.
Question. My fiance and I have a really close friend that we spend time with weekly, playing outdoor games, cards, and have become very close for years. We will call him Joe. Well, late at night on Christmas, my fiance's cousin told us that if Joe comes to our wedding, she and her entire family will not be coming. She said 15 years ago, when she and Joe were in high school, they were drinking and something happened. She did not elaborate other than saying he is a creep and a piece of shit. She threatened that there would be massive drama if Joe was at our wedding. Joe is married with a kid and has never done anything for us to believe firsthand that he is a creep. We have not heard any other stories. I want to be sympathetic to my fiance's cousin's feelings, but does this mean we cannot invite one of our best friends to our own wedding? This cousin has really put us in a shitty position, and I don't know what to do. Do we just let it play out? Neither option feels right in the old gut. I'm so confused. Please help.
Fucking say something. Be like, what's his name? Joe?
Yeah.
Joe, did you fuck his cousin? Did you do something to her cousin? Because if somebody hates someone that much and I had this person around me or my family or anything, like, I want to know what it is. What's the truth behind it? What happened? Because if he did something, fuck that guy.
But you also want to address this with the cousin. Like, if the cousin isn't telling you what happened, and just, I would be honest with her and be like, hey, I understand that something happened with you guys, but you have to give me a little bit of context to understand. You don't have to tell me everything, but he's one of our really good friends. And I don't feel comfortable not inviting him because of some vague story that happened years ago.
She can't tell you to do something without giving you context. Be like, if this is such a problem, then fucking tell me what it is.
Right. I think she
I'm not just going to go off of this hunch from you or like, you know.
This vague story. I just think, again, and it's her experience with him that she might not feel comfortable, but
also
that's not fair
telling
to
her,
you.
Also her being like, and if he comes, then me and the rest of the family. Like, does the rest of the family know something?
And
so
out of
you're
all
the only
these
one
years
out of the
you've
loop.
never known. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
Why? It's her fiance's family, right?
Yeah.
Does your fiance, if the whole family knows, then okay. Now I'm wondering, if the whole family knows, then why does the fiance the only one who doesn't know? And how did they become friends? Have they been friends since they all were in high school?
Lots of questions.
Lots of questions. I'm wondering.
We need answers.
I need a little more.
But that's what I'm saying. You can't just, I wouldn't just not invite one of my best friends because someone was like, I hate that person. I can't respect them. Something happened in the
I
past.
just put a hold on it for now. Get more information.
I'd be like, what happened? You don't have to go into detail. I don't need to know your exact trauma, but I need some context. Like, is this someone I should even be friends with?
Does it rhyme with grape? If it rhymes with grape, there's a conversation.
Does it rhyme with schmexual schmasalt? Anything. You just need to know those things.
I feel like you could have came up with a better.
Come up with something, John.
Textual.
Actually, it's not too bad. Befaults.
And we're laughing about something terrible.
No, yeah. That's
Next
not
question.
funny. None of that is funny. Go to the police.
Why go to the police? It's 15 years. Statute of limitations, what?
I just also, if that happened, like this cousin probably knows that you're friends. Why would this have, I'd be like, if I was a cousin and I had this experience with someone who my close cousin was friends with, I'd be like, don't be friends with that person. But years before they became friends with that person.
I would start asking my fiance, like, do you know something you're not telling me about Joe?
I don't understand.
Why does he not know about Joe?
Right.
There's a lot of questions. We could just like lawyer, like
there's not
we could court case this whole thing.
Detective John,
I'd be like,
what do you think?
I'd be like, cousin, what other family members know? Why doesn't your cousin, the one I'm marrying, know? Also, why are you threatening me? First off, that's what I don't like. And if you invite him, then I'm not going. Not only am I not going, I'm going to make sure the rest of the family doesn't go.
But I'm not going to tell you why.
15 years ago?
We have questions and you need answers. And you can't make decisions when you
This
don't have answers.
either went one of two ways. He did something horrible to her, or he turned her down.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know.
People are fucking petty. It's one or the other. Something horrible or something.
And you know what we don't want to
selfish.
do here? Assume. Next question.
Kind of, because that's what we do.
Well, we're not assuming. Like, either way is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Next question. Should I attend my sister's wedding less than 1 month postpartum? I'm due June 18th with my first child. We found out that I was pregnant back in October. I immediately told my sister, knowing that she was planning a June wedding. Even though she wasn't engaged yet, she was still planning the wedding. Although she was happy for me, she was also upset because I couldn't wait 1 more month to get pregnant. I struggled with fertility issues, so we were thrilled to get pregnant and didn't even think about the timeline. She reluctantly moved her wedding to July. The whole wedding has been rushed. They haven't even known each other for over a year, and she's pissed about having to move the wedding back and acted like she did me a big favor by doing this. I get that it's her big day, but I told her to make it whenever she wants, but to understand that there's a chance I won't be able to make it. Her wedding is across the country, and driving 24 plus hours with a newborn just isn't feasible. I also don't really want to expose this new human to all the germs on an airplane. My husband is willing to stay home with the baby, but I'm not sure he understands what he's getting himself into. Plus, with breastfeeding, 1 month isn't enough time to store enough food for 2 to 3 days. Also, am I really going to want to leave my newborn that early? Her wedding venue is a good 2-hour drive from the nearest airport, so it would be at least a 2 to 3 day trip. My entire family thinks that I'm the asshole if I miss this wedding. What are your thoughts?
I'm just like, adults are just big kids. Or just
not even.
People are such fucking
I feel like kids
babies.
have more grace than some adults. It's like, are you for fucking real? You cannot travel with a newborn until they're what, 3 to 4 months? Like
You can't even fly.
No.
The last 2-3 months of
babes,
pregnancy.
like you're still healing at 1 month after.
Your hoo-ha's bleeding, from what I read, or your butthole. There's a lot of bleeding going on.
Keep telling me what else is going to be bleeding, John.
I'm just saying, I read about it. They got the diaper, the you wear the brief, it depends or whatever, with the cold pack to cool down your hoo-ha. Mm-hmm. Right? Am I wrong?
I mean, if you have a vaginal delivery, she might have a C-section. You're still in diapers.
You can't walk for 2 days or
Either
something?
way, you're not going to be feeling, at least, I don't know yet, but I don't imagine that you're going to be feeling up to traveling that far, 4 weeks postpartum. I think you're good. If your family gives you fucking shit, let them. You know, isn't that there? Mel Robbins, she's like a self-help, like, you know, business guru.
Is she the blonde? Is she blonde hair with glasses? I like her.
But she'll like come up with these like one-liners.
She makes it simple. She
simple.
She breaks things
very
down.
simple. But she has like this one saying that she says where it's like, let them. If people are gonna give you shit about not doing something that is a boundary or that you physically can't do, let them give you shit. That's on them. It's not on you. Live your life. Like, who cares? Like you're still sisters with your sister. You could still support her in every way that you can. It's just the timing for this doesn't line up. And yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm sure you would love to be there, but like you're welcoming a new child into your life. When you're weighing the pros
You have to
and
do
cons
what's important
here,
for you.
Yeah. And right now it's going to be your health, your baby's health, and getting your family together.
They'll get over it. It's unfortunate
over
your
it.
family's going to give you shit for it, but you have to do what's good for you and your family.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's what they should be saying.
Yeah. Congratulations. And best of luck with everything. I hope you have a healthy baby. Next question. My wife and I have been together as a couple for almost 9 years. We have a pretty great, healthy marriage, except one thing that bothers me sometimes. She and her friends are extremely close. Like, I think closer than any other female friendship I've seen before.
I doubt it.
I
highly fucking doubt that.
I noticed about a year ago that whenever we or she goes out with her friends and they get drunk, she kisses her friends. Sometimes it's little pecks on the lips for pictures, which is fine by me, but sometimes they kiss for no reason. Sometimes they just straight make out passionately, and I'm just sitting there watching like, does anybody know that I'm here? I don't get bothered if they kiss sometimes, but the passionate making out, especially right in front of me, seems disrespectful. I haven't said anything about it because I don't want to trigger a fight, but sometimes it just seems a little excessive and weird. Am I the asshole?
I take that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
it back.
John, just wait.
I take it back. If I saw you make it out with some chick, do I technically get to fight her?
That's very college behavior. And I don't want to be like ageist here, but how old are you? You know, like if I'm married, I'm not making out with my friends. Like I'm close with my friends too. Like, yeah, we've shared kisses, but making out when you're married is just
they're like spitting food back in each other's mouth.
No, you don't have to like make it weird, John. Put your tongue back in your mouth. I just think it is crossing the line for me personally. I don't know. I think this is something that you obviously have to address with your wife and just say, hey, this makes me
doesn't matter who you are. You shouldn't be making out with other people.
Uncomfortable.
Unless you both are okay with it.
It's
I just feel like we always have to give that disclaimer if someone's like, well, what if I'm in a poly-molly relationship or a molly, whatever they are. There's like bi, poly.
Right. Like unless it's okay if you have that.
If you both are agreeing to terms.
Right. If those are the boundaries in your marriage that you're okay with to make out with other people, fabulous. But if it's not something that you're okay with, yes, you have to have a conversation with your wife about it.
If something, just bottom line, if one person's doing something the other person in the relationship doesn't agree with, there needs to be a conversation. Communication is priority. It's key. You guys got to be on the same page.
Maybe this is kind of like what the guy in the first question was doing. Maybe he's just making out with his friends and he's like, I thought that's okay.
They didn't communicate either, apparently.
He's like, I didn't know that was a problem. Maybe your wife doesn't know or think that it's a problem. So
come on, people have to be some sort of self-awareness. Like
it's
there's
not
way.
like she's kissing other dudes though. Like these are her friends.
I just think people are trying to they're just crossing the line just a little bit. Be like, how much can I get away with? Like that's like acceptable.
To me, like friendship kisses in the forms of pecks are like endearing or whatever. Like I don't know, very cute and can be just like friendly, but making out with your friends out in public in front of your husband to me is attention seeking. I'm like, unless you have a sexual attraction towards your friend, like I just don't. I don't know that I would ever disrespect you in that way. And again, that's just me personally.
It doesn't either way. You're making out with someone. What if she was making out with a dude? How would you feel? It's the same thing, whether it's a female or a male. Like it's fucked up.
I think it's just a conversation that you have to say that you are uncomfortable with.
How are you not agreeing that it's not fucked up? I'm just saying if you're not okay.
Well, I don't think that it's the same. Like I think.
How is it not the same?
Me making like
If you were two lesbians and you're.
Well, is she bi?
You don't know.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It just depends on her preferences. She's married to a man. So if she was making out with another dude, I do think that's different than her kissing one of her friends that she's been friends with for years.
It's not just a kiss. It's a makeout.
I know.
That is not like an endearment kiss.
All I'm saying is like it's a little bit different.
I don't see.
I don't think making out with some stranger.
Say she has a dude best friend. Okay, she has a dude best friend. She has a girl best friend, and she's making out with both of them the same way.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it like very black and white, like sure, it's the same thing.
You need to.
But I'm
like,
I do think it's a little different. I'm not saying it's right either way. I'm not agreeing and being like, yeah, she should be able to make out with her friend.
If I was the guy in this situation, I'd be like, that right there will show you that it's not okay because you would lose your mind if it was a dude.
Either way, if it's not okay with you, you have to discuss.
I guess we're agreeing, but I'm just saying.
We're just arguing with me for the sake of it. Okay, next question. Am I the asshole for selling concert tickets that my friends gave me money to buy for them after they ignored me for 6 months? For context, we were a group of friends where I was always the single one. When I met my boyfriend, now husband, they all started being mean and unsupportive, and I felt isolated because I was no longer available to them as the always there single friend. In my attempt to show that I was still useful to this friendship, when they were unable to get concert tickets because of system issues, I offered to get ticket for them, and they paid me money for it. 6 months go by, and I do not hear from them at all, whilst they're all having parties with other mutual friends and blatantly excluding me. 2 months before the concert, they unfriended me on Facebook, so I sold their tickets. The week of the concert, they contacted me to meet to collect their concert tickets. I replied that I had sold them and asked for banking details and refunded their money. Of course, they called me all sorts of names because they were counting on me for those tickets to a sold out concert. But I feel like I was counting on them to not be asshole friends. Am I the asshole? It's been 3 years and I still think about it.
Oh, wow. So you were actually going to reimburse them the money.
She said it wasn't until they reached out to collect their concert tickets that she was like, I sold them.
No, they wanted to go to the concert like a week before.
They were planning on going to the concert.
Fuck them. No. And also, I would have doubled down and be like, I don't have the tickets anymore. And I would have kept the money. I'd be like, fuck you. But what's really going on? Did you...
That's my question here is like, the one thing that stood out to me is you say, in my attempt to show that I was still useful to the friendship, you got concert tickets. Like, if I'm trying to maintain a friendship with a group or with an individual, my attempt at being useful is not going to be by like an act of service. It's going to be like creating a connection, like quality time. Like how there's so much more that makes an individual useful to a friendship than just like, I can get you these concert tickets. Like, I just think that that is a cheap way to be like, I did something. And I'm not saying that you didn't do other things or that they weren't reciprocating, but I just don't think that this was a solid attempt from your end or their end to keep this relationship going. And so for you to get annoyed about how it was going down the road, were you surprised? Like what? I just think that there should have been other conversations, other things done. Like I wouldn't have even gone out of my way to give them the concert tickets if that was the bare minimum of what you were going to do to try to save this relationship. There's more going on.
Exactly. I'm wondering what made that friendship slip, even though that's not really the question you're asking. Let's just go off. Doesn't matter. Let's just go off what the question is. And basically,
they unfriended you on Facebook. That would be fucking annoying. But I would tell them then. I'd be like, hey, clearly, like, here's your tickets. Take it or leave it. I don't know that I would just sell them and not tell them because they paid you.
When you bought the tickets, how long between when you bought the tickets?
6 months, it says, go by.
They had plenty of time to reach out for their refund. Or like,
or for the tickets in general, and that's true.
No, I wouldn't. I don't know how your friendship ended, or what kind of friend you were to them, but just based on what you're saying, no, I wouldn't give a shit if it's just they're the terrible ones.
Correct.
If they are
this question.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily call you the asshole. Was this petty? Sure.
No, I don't think it's petty either, because she also was like, I will give me your bank info and I'll send you the money. Like, shit, 6 months went by?
No. But like, I think the adult, mature response would be before you sold them was to be like, hey, we're not going to this together. Like, I'm going to sell your tickets. Do you want them? Or do you want me to refund you the money? Because I'm going to sell them.
Fine, sure.
I think that's the adult way. That's what I'm saying. Like, this was petty. Did they deserve it? Maybe. But like, I think asshole could be a strong word. It's also been 3 years. Who cares? Like, at this point. But
because she probably wishes she, like, in that, if I was looking at that situation, that's something that happened to me, I'm like, I wish I did something worse.
This is just like the difference between the both of us. I'm like, I'm not here to ruffle any feathers. This friendship has died. You unfriended me. I'd be like, hey, I have these tickets. I'm going to refund them. I'm going to sell them. Do you want your money back or no?
Too much mental headspace.
Yeah. I just think, again, like there needs to be more communication between relationships other than just like a little, I'm buying a concert ticket and then we don't talk for 6 months. Like those weren't your friends.
Okay. Next question. I'm fading.
All right. Last one, John. You can get through it. Okay. My husband and I have been together for 12 years and have 2 kids together. He has a female friend that calls him, texts him. And they play Call of Duty together all the time. They used to work together, and after work, they would game. About a year ago, we got into 2 big arguments. It bothers me that she is always calling and texting him. They don't work together anymore, but they still play the game and are constantly texting and calling. He's aware that I don't like that. It boils my blood. He says that they're just friends and that I'm being insecure. I've made him aware that I feel like he's giving her more attention than me. He has even put a lock on his phone. He does have other female friends, and I'm cool with them because I've seen them, talked with them, and even hung out with them. But with her, none of that. Am I being insecure?
What do you mean he put a lock on his phone?
Like a passcode? Like
So
a
you
new
didn't have one
passcode that you
before?
don't know, maybe. Like maybe she knew it and he changed it.
You're married. Get that passcode.
Either.
I don't like any of these secrets in marriages, and people who defend that, I'm like, shut up.
Also, knowing how much like fun you have with your Call of Duty bros that you play with. And again, I don't want to be like, oh, you can't game with other girls, but it's outside of the game that like the calling and the texting and this other relationship that you're not a part of. And we had spoken about this in like a few episodes ago about like female friendships, male friendships,
They
whatever.
need to be involved with you.
Yeah, it's just when you're not included, how are you supposed to trust? When he's keeping you out of this friendship that he claims that they're just friends, well, then why can't I be involved? Like what?
Right.
Why can't I have?
I'll just talk on the
What do you have to
the
say
Call of Duty
to hide?
aspect of this is like shit. I talk to those guys more than I talk to two of them I never even fucking met.
Right.
But I've been playing with these guys for like 3-4 years now. I talk to them more than
But
I talk
that's
to like
how
my other friends.
You like built those relationships. Like you're closer with them now. Like a few of the first people that we saw when we came back here was like your Call of Duty buds.
I know. But you like learn about people because you're talking and playing. You're doing it for hours. Guys don't. I don't talk like that with people ever, but it just happens naturally when you're doing that. But like even outside now, we have a text group and we text and all that stuff. So it's like, I get it. You get involved.
It's like a friend group.
Yeah.
Completely. So I don't think you're being insecure. I think it's a boundary that your husband is crossing, especially him changing his passcode or locking his phone. Again, what do you have to hide?
Yeah.
Because I don't have the urge to go through someone's phone unless there's a reason. Like I've never felt like I had to snoop through your phone. I have access to all of your info if I wanted it and I have it, but like, I'm like, I'm
just going to take this moment to say, John, Chris, Drew, Matt, Tom, you all suck. I'm the best COD player. Okay.
You think they listen?
I'm going to take a short clip of this and send it to them. Fuck those guys.
Okay. But yeah, if I didn't have your passcode to your phone, I'd be like, that's a red flag. What are you hiding from me?
Yeah.
I don't think you're being insecure. I think your husband is being a little shady bitch.
I mean, he could correct this though. He can, as far as get this girl involved with you. I don't know, something like it doesn't have to be, just talk to him about it.
Like John doesn't want me playing Call of Duty, not because he's afraid I'm going to like meet a guy. He's afraid
I would love for you to play.
He's afraid because I'm going to beat his ass.
I'm not afraid of that.
100%.
It's torture watching you play. It's
Are
torture.
you fucking kidding
You're
me?
like looking up at the ceiling,
That
you're
is
shooting
a
the ground.
lie.
You killed one person because you accidentally ran over them with the car. Okay.
You act like I don't know how to navigate that. I was
Alex
a
is
Halo.
saying she's a big Halo player.
Back in the day, you have to ask.
It's the same controls.
My sister.
Nothing has changed.
Call of Duty's more
Two
sensitive.
joystick. Okay.
And like you can't teabag in Call of Duty.
Yes, you can.
Can you?
Yeah, you can squat.
Is it the same?
Yeah, it's the
joystick?
No, your joystick is like a melee move.
Exactly.
And you know that. No, because you do that in Halo.
No, in
It doesn't
Halo,
matter.
you do it with the joystick.
It doesn't matter. Your
In and
nerd's coming out.
I haven't
Was
played
that it? Was that the last
Halo
question?
in years. Yeah, that's it. But I do have secrets if you want. Should I read one?
All right, read one secret.
Okay. We'll have some for the next week then. I can't believe I'm even typing this because I've never told anyone. Warning, TMI. Back when I was in college, I hooked up with a guy that I had known for about a year while highly intoxicated. I ended up staying over, and when I woke up, there was blood everywhere. And I mean everywhere. Pause for dramatic effect.
Vagina.
What, like you were supposed to pause for dramatic effect and you just filled that dead space with vagina. Apparently I started my period while fooling around and it got on everything, including his hands, which caused it to be on the pillow, the headboard, etc. I ended up bolting. When he woke up the next morning, he texted me about it and I completely denied everything and said, I have no idea what he's talking about and said, maybe he got a bloody nose in the night or something. Needless to say, we never talked again. And after that, I just hoped he believed it was his own issues.
That's kind of. If I was the guy, I'd be like, did I kill someone?
Yeah, like, what happened?
Did something happen? You could at least.
I mean, I've been in that situation before, but not specifically. Like I was in a relationship, and I'm like, oh no, like,
right.
I wasn't as wet as I thought I was. But yeah, it's not fun, especially. I mean, I don't know what I would have done in that situation.
That guy's
too.
probably like,
in
is
college,
she alive? Is she?
Yeah, like, did I kill her?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's a good secret.
Oh goodness. Review time.
Reviews.
Okay.
We also have to continue
Our
our
Band-Aids.
Band-Aids.
I know. Our laptop's injured.
She actually is injured. She's really slow.
I'm just gonna read one. So busy listening, forgot to leave a review, I'm assuming. Petite to beat. 5 stars. The review says it all. I've been binging on those episodes ever since I discovered their podcast and love their sense of humor on social media and especially on the podcast. Alex does such a good job trying to explore beyond her perspective, and John does a good job of anchoring in their married perspective. Though, yeah, he doesn't always listen, seemingly. LOL. Amazing podcast and congrats on the big life change. Love you guys both so much.
Thank you. That was a great review.
I gotta do a little more than that, but that's fine.
John, like you always
Thank
want
you,
more
Petite
credit.
to beat.
That was
I like
great.
that name.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Guys, thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, email, comment.
If you have any questions, you could email us at hello@giveittomestraightpodcast.com. You can find us on the socials at Give It To Me Straight Podcast, pretty much everywhere. And if you want to submit an anonymous question, you could do so at the link in our bio or the show notes. We will see you next week.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.